the first season, he would still walk around. He doesn't look anything like you've seen him in real life. He's like soft-spoken, well dressed. He doesn't curse. He's nothing like Junior. Doesn't wear those ridiculous glasses. So we would walk around the city, and people come up to us and be like, "Hey, you look a lot like that guy in The Sopranos," And he'd be like, "Yeah, I get that a lot," joking. By the time the second season, we went to the premiere. We left the theater. He was mobbed with fans. He didn't know what to do. I had to like rush him into the limo. And I remember sitting there, closing the door, and he was kind of giddy. He was like, "Wow." And I was like, "Yeah, you're a celebrity now, Pop. Welcome." He was always so humble. And really good actors are like that. Jimmy was like that. May he rest in peace. I got a chance to do a couple of episodes. Briefly, let me just tell you a brief history. I was asked to do, and there's no shock here, but during the flashback, I think it was the second season, during the flashback scenes of when Tony was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And they needed a young Junior. So I get the call, right? So I go in, I read once, I read twice. I go in for the third time. Now they're all there. David Chase is in the room. I do the lines, I get them to chuckle because I do it a little improv. Then I looked at them and I went, "Guys, I am him 30 years ago." It's like, this is a no-brainer. This is like a casting coup. Just give me, it's 3 lines. You're like, So they laughed and they gave it to me. So I was really excited about it. They had a really hard time casting Johnny, who was the main focus of that. And the guy they hired, I was supposed to be his older brother, and I just looked too young. It was Joe, and Joe passed recently, a great actor, and I was fortunate to know him. So I got bumped, and I was a little disappointed. So I carried that resentment around for a little while. But then by the time the final season came out, season 8, at this point, I went, "Pop, I gotta do something, right? Come on, the show's about to end." So he was nice enough to call David, and so David made me, one of Philly's crew, the New York guys. So I got to do some scenes with Frank Vincent, may he rest in peace, and of course Jimmy. Now, the way they did it, and this little inside scoop, and I'm sure people have said this before, is they give you your role and you see your lines, right? And then any minute now it's subject to change because they were so secretive about, I signed an NDA, but people talk and stuff gets out. So I kept my mouth shut like a good, I was already in character. It's like, I don't talk, you don't say nothing. So, it ended up getting cut to shreds, and I ended up being this glorified extra who did a cameo. Even the scenes that I had lines got cut. So, initially I was supposed to do a shootout scene, and it ended up going to Danny Aiello's son. May he rest in peace. I mean, we lost so many people.
Yeah.
So I was glad that, he got to do it, but whatever. So I ended up having this glorified extra, but I'm going to tell the story to keep the thread of how humble great actors are. And Jimmy was a perfect example of this. Him and my father were close, and I would see him around. We had some good times. But we were shooting down at that place on Mulberry Street, that scene where the families are meeting and Phil's character.
Yeah.
Right. He was kind of going off on him a little bit. So we're between takes. We're sitting at the bar, and Jimmy's there, and he has this look on his face. I'm like, "What's up, man?" He goes, "I don't know." I go, "What is it?" Because we had a rapport. He goes, "Tony wouldn't take that shit. You talked about Tony Soprano as like another guy, And he goes, "Tony wouldn't just sit there and take that shit." And I thought about it, and I said, "Do you mind if I give you my feedback?" Because I had a healthy respect for him, you know what I mean? On and off screen. And he goes, "Yeah, sure, Dom," because that's the way he was. He would take advice from some rookie like me. I said, "I don't know if you're aware of this, but you change the mood of a scene with a raise of an eyebrow. You have such presence on screen." And he kind of looked at me like he'd never heard this before. I mean, I remember him from True Romance.
Yeah.
Just the minute he got on screen, you're like, "Who the hell is this guy?" By the way, I'm watching my language. Is this child friendly or?
Oh, you could say anything you want.
Well, fuck, man. I mean, there's no pretty words to describe some of this shit. Anyway, sorry, kids. Don't cuss. Stay in school. So I said to him, he's talking, but I'll tell you, man, you look sideways and the whole mood of the scene changes and everybody in the audience knows exactly what's going on. And he went, thanks. Next take, they go back, and they had taken it a few times. Next takes, they go back, one take, they were like, great, cut. And he came over and he thanked me for that bit of advice. You imagine this iconic, the humility. And this is what I believe good actors are like. They don't see themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they don't, they just, so I always was taken by that. As a matter of fact, there was a time when they were honoring my father for the Ensemble Studio Theater. He was a lifetime member, and Jimmy gave him the award, and it was at Caroline's Comedy Club. And Jimmy was talking about when he first got the role. I know there's a lot about Jimmy, but I'll talk about my old man too. And he was talking about my father. And he goes, I remember when I went to go do the table read, and I walk in the room and I see Dominic Chianese and Nancy Marchand, may she rest in peace. You mentioned her. And he goes, what the hell am I doing here? Like, he didn't think that he belonged in the same room with these people.
So humble.
He's so humble. So, that was an idea of what he was like,